Hey everyone! Welcome to my second vlog. After getting some feedback last week, I'm dialing down the length of the videos. So today's topic is boundaries, but it's going to be a series of 3 videos that are 10 to 15 minutes long. So, for the sake of all of our attention spans. um, Also, I'm going to write the resources that I got this information from in the description of the video. So it'll be more easily accessed if you would like to further dig into the topic. Okay, here we go. So the first video is going to consist of what boundaries are, what are healthy boundaries versus like not so healthy boundaries, and how to assess your own boundaries. So I'm gonna give you like a couple of ways to, become self-aware around your boundaries with all different types of relationships and like maybe where you could work on it. Okay, let's just get started. So I'm gonna read you definitions quote for quote, just because I do feel like they're clear. Okay, so the definition of personal boundaries: a line you set for yourself and others that separates you from others and their influences, or they're guidelines, rules, or limits that you set in a safe, permissible way for others to treat you and behave around you. So basically, it's just like, it's the line that you personally, individually draw in the sand of like where, like how people can behave around you, and then stepping over that line is how they cannot behave around you. And if they break or overpass those boundaries or step over that line, then there will be consequences, basically. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen. We're gonna check out different types of boundaries. So these are just, broad examples. Rigid boundaries are, maybe lacking a little bit, porous, and then healthy boundaries. So just looking at these, I'm going to give a couple of examples. I'm just kind of trying to think. Okay, so this is one of my favorites, and I get to work on it personally. I feel a lot of people have an interesting or not so good relationship with the word no. So this is huge for setting boundaries. I know if someone asks, oh, can I copy off of your paper during the quiz? Or, hey, can you cover my work shift this weekend? And you feel embarrassed or just uneasy about saying no, then your boundaries aren't really existing, because then you're just doing things to please other people instead of really to please yourself. Like, you're not acting in a way that really like takes care of you. And having boundaries is an act of self-care. That's a really important thing. So a lot of these, if you look at them like accepting of abuse or disrespect, dependent on the opinions of others, fear rejection if they do not comply with others, like all of those things may very well tie into having, self-worth issues, self-value issues. Like, you have to get your value from someone else. You have to be validated by someone else's word for you to feel complete. So those are, could be connected. I have to find the research on that, but I will find the research for you, because I know that there is some connecting that. It just goes too perfect to not be backed up by science. Looking at healthier boundaries, values own opinions. So here we go. We're stepping into self-value. We're stepping into having our own voice, and caring, and kind of just being aware of our own voice and other voices, and they're not combined. Accepting when others say no to them. That's huge too. I know for me, what I'm trying to work on is, I just got a puppy. We're going to go into like super personal, but we just got a 3-month-old puppy like 3 days ago, and he's really attached. To the point where like you plop him onto the couch next to you and he's like zooming up, have to be right on your lap. And like, so when you put him in the crate, he yips and everything else, and it's just like, oh, like I feel really bad, he's uncomfortable, this and that. But really, like, you have to draw those lines and create those boundaries, or your relationship with this dog is not going to be what you want. It may like look a little in the beginning, but that's totally worth it. It may be a little uncomfortable in the beginning, but it's totally worth it to have the self-respect and the respect for whoever you are working with in the relationship. In this example, it's a puppy. Really, it could be anybody. Okay. So we're going to get into how to assess your own boundaries. It's going to include a little bit of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and like reflection and journaling. So I just wanted to also go back to the screen, bloop, 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 show you. I found this on positivepsychology.com's website, and the first step to how to set personal boundaries is identify desired boundaries for yourself. So the first way that we can do that, one of the ways that we could do that, but I think this is a really cool way to do it, is checking out Maslow's hierarchy of needs. A lot of people have seen this, are familiar with this. It starts out with, basic needs, water, shelter, food, into personal security, health, property. Then we move into relationships with the sense of belonging, esteem, self-esteem, your feelings and aspects of respect, and then self-actualization. So one really cool way to start this is if you just take a notebook and list out maybe like the sections, and list out, where, in what section your needs are met and where they're not met. So, I mean, that's like the first step. Needs. Check them out. While doing this reflection and listing and journaling and just like, really just sorting out where you are in a certain area of your life may bring up emotions. That's okay. Feel them. And if it has to do with a particular relationship or a particular person, just give it time to like, just feel it. Allow the emotions to kind of like run through, before you go into confronting them, having a conversation, because, emotions like frustration, anger, those will come up, and I don't really know if it's gonna end in a productive place if you don't go into it in a calm, clear, respectful manner. So that's just something to think about. Okay, so back to our self-assessment and self-awareness. I would start off with listing where your needs are met in the hierarchy of needs. Then I would go into maybe making relationship, like maybe listing out all of the people that you're in a relationship with. You could make it family, friends, acquaintances, co-workers. Just make like 4 sections, and then just list out all the people who you are in a relationship with, and just start to write and reflect, brainstorm like what that relationship is like. Is it a smooth going relationship, or is it rigid? Is it, if that person is feeling upset or angry, that you always end up feeling upset or angry too when they feel that way. You can't separate yourself from their feelings, which is another area of like maybe a lacking of boundaries, or not having healthy boundaries around that. I've been in situations like that. It is so draining, emotionally, mentally, physically draining to be in a situation like that, where, if you show up at work and someone's not in a good mood, you're like, it's not going to be a good day. And that's not having healthy boundaries. Having healthy boundaries is like, okay, I can see that you're going through something. I'm sorry. I'm here if you need support, but you do not have the power to ruin my day. Boom, done. So really just reflect any situations that you've had like that. If it's all positive boundaries, list that too. Like really just go through any kind of relationship experiences, maybe where you feel, I did wish I had a little more boundaries with this person, or there was a way that I could talk to this person without feeling this certain way. And just being aware of that is the first step. In so many situations, being aware of it is the first step, and then you move on and you do what you need to do to build the strength behind that certain topic or skill, and then you practice it, which is exactly how we're going to go through these next couple of vlogs. So it's great. So that's really what I recommend to do. List through the hierarchy of needs, what your needs are. You're going to list all of the people, boundaries, like all of the people. The categories I said were colleagues, acquaintances, peers, family, and friends. List them out, all those people in your life. And then for each one, reflect what your relationship is like with that person. Are the boundaries there? Is that really how you want the relationship to be? Do you want to add boundaries? Maybe, I don't know, lose boundaries if it's like really restricted. And that's the first step. And we're going to start there. So thank you so much for tuning in. I cannot wait to share with you the next video. Everything will be listed on this channel, and they will be labeled boundaries part 1, 2, and 3. So just look for them in order. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and stay safe and healthy out there. Bye.